Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. And this is our Wednesday night edition, but tonight we're going to do things just a little bit differently. Normally, I'd have a 4-topic show prepared for you guys, but you saw the thumbnail and you see the rundown, and that should tell you there's only one topic, and this is one that I'm going to take a little time and get into. This is one I've been giving a lot of thought to over the last few days with everything that's kind of going on in regards to this particular story in the world of sports. So I wanted to unpack it as I had a lot of thoughts on it. And I'm sure some people are not going to be happy with my perspective on it. But, hey, it's my perspective. It's my show. I'm not one of those people that just randomly picks a side or you know, I take the information and I think about it and I really try to process things and, you know, give a lot of depth and a lot of nuance to how I'm coming up with things. I definitely try to be consistent generally in my thoughts and my opinions on certain things. However, certain things you can't always be 100% consistent. You have to really give it a lot of thought, especially nuanced topics like this. So definitely going to take some time and talk about it. I want to welcome you guys into the show. I appreciate you. But before we even start to get it rolling, I'm going to go ahead and do the little spiel, and then I'll come back. We'll wait a couple minutes, see if we get a couple more people in the chat, and then we will kick it off because this one is something. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you. Yes. Exclusive content just for you. All right. So like I said, I want to take a few minutes, see if we get a couple more people in the chat, because this is something that I really wanted to talk about. I know I'm interrupting the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Knicks and the Pacers. And it wasn't my intent to do that. But again, this is our time for the normal Wednesday night show. So I got to do it. So let's see if we can't divide our attention between the Eastern Conference Finals, New York Knicks for the first time in 25 years, and the Pacers, and listen to what I have to say here. So first and foremost, who we have in the chat tonight? Who do we have in the chat? Definitely want to see who's here. If it's anybody I know, maybe it's some new viewers. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, of course, as we did in the spiel. There we go. Chief Sid Bubba. Good evening, Chief. Shout out to you. Shout out to the boys from Annapolis. Anchors away, Chief. All right. And while I'm here, let me do that. Let me give a shout to the channel members. Of course, we just heard Chief Sid Bubba. Of course, we got Baltimore Bruce, who's really been giving me a hard time about this particular topic. So, you know, we had to respond to it. And this is not specifically in response to him, but, you know, he really kind of pushed me to do a show about this topic. I was really on the fence about it for obvious reasons, but I guess it's a huge story in the world of sports, so got to do it. What's going on, Woodage? Another shout out to Laker Nation, host of the Be Ready Sports Podcast. Make sure you all check that out if you haven't already. Make sure you like and subscribe to his channel. Really doing a great job going ahead and highlighting the young and up-and-coming talent in the world of sports. He does a great job with that. Love his show. And, of course, It's Not That Serious. What's good? It's Not That Serious. So, yeah, I'm going to just give it about another minute or so while I also get the Knicks and Pacers game going on my other screen here, because, you know, that's something that we never want to miss, right? Eastern Conference semis, of course, with a banner franchise like the New York Knicks, even though they haven't won in, 53 years. But they're still the Knicks, and it's still New York City. All right. So let me say this before we go ahead and get started. This particular topic, excuse me, if you've been following it, it has some major racial undertones. It has some major racial themes involved. And if you know me and you know this show, race is not something that I particularly hang my hat on. Now, I am aware as a black man in the United States of America that race is involved in, pretty much everything that goes on in this country. But this is, I try to avoid race, right? Because, I like this channel and sports to be something that we can come together. And even if we argue over sports, like I like this channel to be a safe space, something that we can really, something we can really talk about, bond over as sports fans, right? Like there are people who look nothing like me, who come from entirely different backgrounds, etc., who I can say I've literally, I've become friends with through the medium of sports. I've become friends with through the medium of this channel. I can honestly say that. And so, when you're dealing with race, you have to be very careful because it's such a nuanced topic. And you don't want to alienate people, but you also want to try to be as honest as you can. So there's a lot going on here. All right, so let's get it going, y'all. Let's get it going. So as we know, last Saturday was the first game of the WNBA season for Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, and their two stars, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, right? And we know that Caitlin Clark is arguably the face of the WNBA. Now, let's be clear, she is not the best player in the WNBA. That would be Asia Wilson by far, clearly the best player in the WNBA. Breanna Stewart is ahead of Caitlin Clark. I mean, there's a number of players in the league that are ahead of Caitlin Clark in terms of being the best in the NBA. All that said, Caitlin Clark is the face of the NBA. We have seen how the numbers, the attention, the fan base, the viewership, all that has skyrocketed since Caitlin Clark has entered the league last year. Now, is she the only reason? No, but she is a major catalyst to what the WNBA has been able to do. For instance, I think that Saturday's game between the Fever and the Sky did like 2.5 or 2.7 million viewers. It peaked at highest rated, highest watched game in WNBA in the last 25 years, I think. So, I mean, that is just, it shows you her star power, right? And that's not to say, again, that there are not other outstanding players in the WNBA, but right now, Caitlin Clark is clearly the needle mover. Okay, cool. A meritocracy at its best. Absolutely, Chief. Absolutely, Chief. And you know me, I am going to do my best to give this to you in a fair, objective, but also nuanced way. I'm going to do my best. All right. So what's going on, G? What's going on? Whoever was checking her was getting cooked. Yeah, man, Caitlin Clark is, and so Caitlin Clark being the type of shooter that she is, almost like a female version of Steph Curry, pulling up from the logo and shooting these deep threes and getting out in transition and throwing really good outlet passes. And if you watch basketball and you know basketball, she's also a really good pocket passer and all that, right? Now, could she use a lot of work on defense? Yes, she definitely can use some work on defense. So we'll see if that continues to improve over the course of the season. But offensively, she's one heck of a player. I think she already is tied for third in WNBA history in triple doubles. And I think she already is second or first all time in 25-point 10 assist games, right? So, I mean, she is rewriting the record books already. But this is not necessarily about Caitlin Clark, although Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese play a big role in what's going on. And what's really going on, and what I'm going to get into, is this quote unquote beef between Robert Griffin III and Ryan Clark, right? So, let's do this. We saw during the game. Now we know, let's take it back a second. We know Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have a rivalry going back to college. Was this 2-3 years ago now? LSU beat Iowa in the national championship game, and we saw Angel Reese do the ring finger gesture and the "you can't see me" to Caitlin Clark, and for whatever reason that became a big deal. I don't know why that was a big deal. Angel Reese and LSU had just finished beating Iowa, or were, a couple seconds from the game being over for the national championship. And so y'all know me, if you get busy, then you could talk your talk, right? You just have to be able to back it up. So she did what she did. And so it shouldn't have been a big deal that she talked smack to Caitlin Clark. But apparently a lot of people didn't like that. So we kind of get the beginning of that rivalry. Then the following year, LSU and Iowa, meet again. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the Elite Eight. This time, Iowa knocks LSU out. And I think Caitlin Clark had like 48 or 49 points in that game. It was something crazy, right? So she knocks them out of the tournament. And then that's when we see the whole business of Angel Reese in the post game, and she's crying and talking about all this stuff she's been through and blah, blah, blah. And there's actually, if you go back on my channel, I did a couple of shows really breaking that whole thing down, right? And we'll get to it some more, but just to briefly touch on it, it's confounding to me how Angel Reese has said on multiple occasions that she will be the villain or the bad guy and embrace that, but then she doesn't seem to want to embrace that. But it is what it is. Joseph Gonsalves says, I do not like RG3, yet somehow Ryan Clark has me defending RG3. I think RG3 is fake, but Ryan Clark is a bigger fake. I should probably stay out of this one. So last Saturday, we saw the two teams face off, Indiana Fever, Chicago Sky. And during the game, we saw Caitlin Clark really get physical with Angel Reese and, get a take foul to keep Angel Reese from getting an easy 2 points, right? Or what theoretically should have been an easy 2 points, but the way Angel Reese misses layups, it might not have been. But in all seriousness, let's take a look at that, right? So we see this here. Angel Reese. Now let's keep in mind, this is the first part. Angel Reese first pushes Caitlin Clark's Fever teammate, Natasha Howard, in the back, upgraded to a flagrant, and Angel Reese clearly does not like that. She jumps up, she's yelling and cursing, and she's moving towards Caitlin Clark as if she wants to have some further altercation, at which point Aaliyah Boston immediately jumps in, separates them, pushes Caitlin Clark out of the way, right? So that's the first thing, right? So we see that. And let's look at that foul from another. So we saw that. And again, I think maybe there's a bit of a flop there from Angel Reese, or maybe she simply didn't expect Caitlin Clark to, take her down, not even take her down, but to push her down the way she did. But Caitlin Clark, she took a lot of physicality last year, as most rookies do. And maybe she's saying, I won't be taking that this year. So she made a point. She saw her teammate get pushed in the back on that rebound. We saw Angel Reese push Natasha Howard in the back with two hands to grab that rebound. And then she thought she was going to have an easy one. Caitlin Clark said, nah. So, executed the take foul and then a little extra push, right? Put a little extra sauce on that thing. So I'm like, this is not even that serious, right? But clearly Angel Reese didn't like it. Pushes Caitlin Clark down. Okay. So now this is where we get to the next part of it, right? So obviously that becomes a big sports story, et cetera, et cetera. And we have former NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year and NFL quarterback Robert Griffin III, former Heisman Trophy winner at Baylor. And he, being a sports pundit, right, he tweeted out and made some comments. So this is very interesting because those comments seem to set the world afire. Now, RG3 on his podcast had a lot to say about it. And then Ryan Clark responded with some commentary. RG3 responded again. So we're going to take some time and go through all of that. And again, you know how I do. I play the clips. I stop the clips. I give my thoughts. I come back and, we go back and forth from there. All right. So it's just me tonight. So if I'm not putting a lot of your comments up on the screen, just bear with me because I got a lot of thoughts and a lot of things going on here. Man, I appreciate that, Joseph. Man, thank you so much. Joseph says, by the way, that if this had happened in the NBA, nobody would be talking about it, but it is mesmerizing because of who it is. This is like a TV episode you don't want to miss. Absolutely, right? So I briefly talked about this last week in terms of the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, but that is crazy because that's just the jumping off point to what now we have between RG3 and Ryan Clark making comments about RG3 and RG3's home life and making comments kind of talking about, not specifically, but referring to RG3's blackness. And it was all crazy, man. And I have a whole lot of thoughts on this. So let me just say one more time, in case you weren't in here when we started, this show has got way more racial commentary than I normally like to bring into the show. So if that's something that makes anybody uncomfortable, you can go ahead and check out now. Or if you have maybe anybody around you that may not want to hear this, you can listen to the replay later, or you can check out or have them leave the room or whatever. I'm not going to be profane or disrespectful or anything like that. But like I said, I'm going to give a little more racial commentary than I normally like to. But this particular story is steeped in it. So we can't accurately address the nuance of this particular thing without discussing the racial component, because it's very deeply interwoven into this topic. All right. So where we're going to start here is with Robert Griffin III's original comments on this particular play, what he thought about it, and where he went from there. And we'll see how it ended up going into Ryan Clark's return commentary, and then his return commentary, and blah, blah, blah. All right. So yeah, Joseph, definitely got a lot to work with here. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I did was I cut some of the different things that RG3 had to say from the first podcast episode where he discussed this. Let's go.
So after watching the play, I tweeted out, after watching Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue the lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark.
All right, so RG3 right here, he's reading his original tweet, right? So the first thing is this. No, Joseph, I would never talk about your wife, man. I got you, bro. No, but RG3, now he's reading his own tweet, and he's saying he knows what hatred looks like. And if we're real, a lot of people, especially a lot of people in the Black community, for a myriad of reasons, do not like RG3. So he's right when he says he knows what hatred looks like. So he's making that commentary. If we remember, and I'm not saying he hates him or anything, years ago, Rob Parker, when he was still on ESPN, he got suspended and in big trouble because somehow the topic of RG3 came up, and Rob Parker's commentary was, I don't know if he's a brother or a cornball brother. And then they kind of asked him, like, well, what does that mean, cornball brother? And he's like, well, I don't know if he's down. I don't know if he's a real brother like that. And I'm like, that particular thing right there irked the hell out of me, because who is the arbiter of what a brother is? Who is the arbiter of blackness? What makes you Black enough? What makes you not Black enough? Like, there are so many different types of Black people, and Black people from different cultures and different places. It's absurd to make statements like that, because we're all so different. For instance, right, I live in Florida, and I'm not what's called a foundational Black American, right? My parents are immigrants from Guyana, South America. So I was raised, even though I was born in this country, in that culture, in the West Indian culture, in the Guyanese culture, right? So my culture is not the same as the culture of many African Americans who live around me here in Jacksonville and Duval County, right? I'm not and that's not better or worse, but I'm saying that it's different, right? So to say who is the arbiter of who's Blacker or who's not Black enough, right? Because we're just different. So that's the first thing I wanted to touch on. But let's continue with RG3's commentary.
Not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. The reason I said that is because when somebody that you don't like says something to you, you automatically always take it to the most extreme. You always automatically say, oh, they meant to harm me with that statement. But if your friend or somebody you're cool with made that very same statement, none of us would be so quick to run to judgment to say, oh, that was negative. We would question what it was. We would react differently. So why do I think Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark? It could be the fact that Aaliyah Boston had to save Angel Reese from ending her career. This is a still shot. After the foul that Caitlin Clark put on Angel Reese tried to hit her. But if it wasn't for Aaliyah Boston putting her arms in the way, Angel Reese would not be playing basketball anymore.
All right, so RG3 was a little bit dramatic there. I think he was hyperbolic. Even if Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark had gotten into a fight, right? That wouldn't have stopped Angel Reese's career, right? Because Angel Reese is an outstanding defensive player, an outstanding rebounder, just a total hustle box, and somebody who's going to be really, really good going forward in the future in the WNBA, right? And as well, we talked about that rivalry going all the way back to college. The WNBA is still a business. They're not stupid enough to ruin that. They know what type of money these Fever and Sky games generate, right? I think the next one is in a couple of weeks in Chicago. Watch how many eyeballs that one gets when it's on TV. I bet it does over 3 million views, right? It's going to peak at over 3 million. The last one was like 2.6 million. So with all of this, going on. I bet you it goes over that and does like 3 million views. I could be wrong, but that's what I anticipate. So the WNBA is not stupid. They would not have kicked Angel Reese out of the league. But with that said, if you watch that clip, it was interesting how Angel Reese got up off the ground and she but she immediately tried to go towards Caitlin Clark. And as RG3 said, Aaliyah Boston did the smart thing, because if you notice in the clip, and I'll show it to you again here, if you notice in the clip, she being Aaliyah Boston immediately got in there. So we see the push, 2 hands in the back by Reese. She goes for the rebound. There's the tough foul by Caitlin Clark, and here's Aaliyah Boston. She gets in between them. She's in an altercation. But I'm going to touch on something with that a little later that I thought was very interesting and made me realize Angel Reese is not tough at all. But let's continue.
Because she was going to sucker punch Caitlin Clark. So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun?
And that's where I was going next. I thought that was very interesting, right? So here's the clip, right? So we see, all right, Angel Reese is doing what she does, going for the board. You see Alyssa Thomas's arm literally around her neck, pulls her down, takes her to the ground. There's Angel Reese, right? Okay. Yeah, that was a tough fall. But if you were to go and look up that clip and that play, Angel Reese didn't hop up and go, screaming and cursing at Alyssa Thomas. She didn't hop up and go, ready to go after Alyssa Thomas. Why is that? Why is that? Because Angel Reese thinks that she can take Caitlin Clark, which she probably could in a fight, right? But it's real interesting. That was a bully move, right? Much like I talked about it ad nauseum when Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James ran up on Stephen A. Smith. And my question was, well, where has that tough guy stuff been all these years when all these dudes are fouling LeBron and doing all this stuff, right? Steve, what's going on, king of the chat? How you doing, my man? Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, where was all that tough guy stuff all those years when LeBron is getting hacked and LeBron is getting fouled? And I'm not talking about when he's flopping, when he's legitimately getting hacked and fouled. He never runs up on anybody, but he ran up on Stephen A because he knew he could, right? So this is the same thing. Angel Reese trying to run up on Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston stepped in the middle, but Angel Reese, she didn't hop up screaming and cursing and going after Alyssa Thomas when Alyssa Thomas literally took her out of the air and chokeslammed her. Very interesting how different that was, the response from Angel Reese to Alyssa Thomas and Angel Reese to Caitlin Clark. Now, wasn't it? Now, that's 2 things. Like I said, 1, clearly Angel Reese believes that she can take Caitlin Clark in, a physical altercation. And 2, she doesn't like Caitlin Clark. She doesn't like her. She doesn't respect her. And as such, she's going to treat her that way, like she didn't treat Alyssa Thomas. All right, moving on.
Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark?
She did.
You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her. You get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player?
I mean, that is true. Remember that? Now, I didn't think it was that big a deal when Kennedy Carter did that hip check to Caitlin Clark. The game is physical. The women's game is pretty physical, and that's enjoyable because that means they're chippy, they're competing, and I'm cool with it. But the point is, Angel Reese, she was on the sideline clapping and cheering when that happened. So why is that cool when that happened to Caitlin Clark, but when it happens to you, you ready to jump up and fight? You're cursing. What the F are you doing? What the F is wrong with you? Very interesting. But it's the hypocrisy at play. And there will be more hypocrisy that we'll get into later.
If they don't dislike that player. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball, not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that."
Now, keep in mind what she just said. I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role. Let's continue.
On to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too.
All right. So first, I just want to reiterate, you heard her say she will take on the bad guy role. The bad guy role. We'll get back to that. Second, she made it a point of saying we're not just watching women's basketball because of one person presumably being Caitlin Clark, but because of her too. And that's true, right? We do enjoy the rivalry between the two of them, and nobody's going to say that Angel Reese does not give everything she has every time she's on the court. She's a hustle box. She is a defender. She is a rebounder extraordinaire. No question about a record-setting rebounder in the WNBA. So, I mean, there's no question about that, right? But why did she feel the need to say, oh, you're not just here for one player, you're here for me too? Like, why, right? Think about this. So back in the day, and this is not quite the same analogy because she isn't the player Magic is, but when Magic was with the Lakers in Showtime and Bird was with the Celtics in the 80s and they were going back and forth, did Bird ever feel the need to say, oh, you're not just here to watch Magic, you're here to watch me too? No. Why do you need to say that? Just go out there, get busy, do your work, and let it speak for you, right? This is the same thing, again, that I always talk about with LeBron. Just let your work speak for you. You don't have to do all the extra politicking and all of that other stuff, right? Why did you feel the need to say that? So, again, this is like more evidence to the I'm not in the woman's head, so I don't want to say envy or jealousy, but clearly, and this is something I say all the time, I believe Caitlin Clark lives rent-free in Angel Reese's head. I do. Because Caitlin Clark is the better player out of the two of them. Yeah, Joseph, there you go. Clark is renting a room in Reese's head, 2-bedroom. Absolutely. Yeah, but Caitlin Clark is the better player out of the two of them. She's the player that's getting more attention. She's the player that's setting more records. She's the player that made the playoffs in her first year, probably had a better team around her, and the team is better this year as well. But the point is, like, you can tell that Angel Reese is really bothered by all of this. So again, you don't have to have the need to go out there and say this stuff. Just do your work and let that talk for you. But let's continue to listen to RG3.
I want y'all to realize that. Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy?
Exactly. Bad guy equals villain. So this is the thing, right? All those people want to cape up. Oh, y'all going after Angel. Y'all making her the villain. Y'all making her the bad one. Well, we just heard her out of her own mouth. That wasn't AI, people. We just heard her, and you can go check that for yourself. It's on YouTube. We heard her say that she's the bad guy and she'll take that for her team. And that's not to include other times she has said that she'll be the villain. So let's continue.
She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain. Okay, correct. So then what happened when they asked her about that this year? Because it is true. Caitlin Clark has been the reason for the rise in viewership. But Angel Reese also has a hand in it. Just not as big of a hand as Caitlin Clark.
Correct.
So a reporter asked her, hey, you made these comments last year. Can you comment on that now? What do you think what the outlook of women's sports and women's basketball looks like now? You know what Angel Reese did? She said, next question. She refused to answer a question about something that she said.
Very interesting, right? She did make that commentary, right? This wasn't a matter of something Caitlin Clark said or did. And she's like, and the reporter's like, well, what do you think about what Caitlin said? What do you think about what Caitlin did? No, they asked her about what she said, but she refused to answer the question. Very interesting. Now, here's what she should have said in that situation instead of next question. How about, I understand what I said last year, and it is my focus on helping this team win the best way I can. And by doing that, hopefully I will demonstrate to you guys that what I said last year is the truth. This is the last time I'm going to talk about it. My focus is on the team and helping the team win the best way I can, continuing to improve as a basketball player and being the best I can in this league, right? See how easy that was? Not hard. But instead, when you say stuff like next question, right, it lets people form an opinion about you. It lets people form a picture of you that may or may not be true. It lets people assume what you're thinking. They may be right. They may be wrong, instead of you telling them what it is. See, this is what I don't understand about many athletes, right? As a reporter, when you ask somebody a question and they say next question, or they refuse to answer it, what you're doing is unfortunately giving them license, right, for them to make a judgment or make an assumption about what you're thinking and what is really going through your head instead of you telling them and erasing doubt. You don't want to do that as an athlete. You don't want to do that as anyone when you're being interviewed, right? So I understand that many athletes are saying, well, I'm just going to say next question or I'm not going to answer because no matter what I say, they're going to twist my words anyway, right? But if you are cognizant of what's being asked of you, you take your time and you respond accordingly, right? You think ahead because you know that you're going to be asked certain things as a pro athlete. You know that. So if you think ahead and prep your responses to these things, right, then you know that no matter what is asked of you, you have a proper answer in place and no one can really twist your words. Okay. All right. So let's continue with RG3.
About Caitlin Clark. Not something that the reporter put into her vernacular, into her mouth and made her seem like she said it. She said it. She wouldn't even answer the question about Caitlin Clark. That's something that you do towards someone that you like and respect? No, it creates this narrative that I, Angel Reese, do not like Caitlin Clark. I hate Caitlin Clark so much, I don't even want to answer a question about something that I said about Caitlin Clark.
So remember what I just said. When you don't answer a question, unfortunately, it gives that reporter license to take liberty in terms of what they think your opinion is on said topic instead of you telling them. So don't get upset as an athlete when you don't answer a question and then maybe something gets incorrectly attributed to you, but you had the opportunity to answer the question and tell them what it was, but you didn't. So you kind of might be asking for whatever comes out of that. Let's continue.
Let me ask you guys this. Who would you rather watch? Who would you rather watch play basketball? Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark? I'll wait.
If we're honest, come on, man. That's an easy answer, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I always talk about how I grew up in the era of the bigs. I love dominant bigs, right? Especially in the men's game, right? I grew up in that era, the David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Mark Eaton, late career of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I grew up in the best big man era, so I love big man basketball. That said, are we really and honestly going to say that we would rather watch Angel Reese play as good as she is and as impactful as she can be than Caitlin Clark? Come on, man. Let's be honest.
I think you'd all watch Caitlin Clark because she plays a more exciting brand of basketball. And it's okay to say what your eyes are seeing. Caitlin Clark with a three-point shooting, her playmaking ability, and her passing. She gets her whole team involved. She's not just out there scoring 50 points a game. That's more exciting than.
All right. So I just put this, let me put this back up. So Cobra to Cobra, I don't know if you were here earlier. So this is something I said, right? And this is what I talk about. RG3 is a cluck. This is your comment. One of those bros who's so not black, he has to take every opportunity to try and take some black back. Weak. So first, I'm going to assume by your commentary that you're black, right? So that being said, who are you to tell somebody if they're black or not? Are you the arbiter of blackness? Is there some metric about how black you are and what you have to do to be black that I don't know about, right? I'm black, but I'm pretty sure I don't think like you, right? Matter of fact, I can guarantee I don't think like you based on this commentary you made here. So I'm saying, what gives you the right to tell another black man that they're not black? Like, we got to stop this ignorance as black people. This is absurd, right? And I got to say, it's people like you with comments like this that have made this thing such an issue that I have to continue and really break this thing down and go on and talk about it. This comment was absurd, my man. I got to tell you.
Watching Angel Reese with her layup package, her post-up game, and getting rebounds. Angel Reese had a double-double in the opening game.
She did.
I believe it was 13 points, 17 rebounds.
12 and 17.
It's okay to admit that that's not as exciting. I would rather watch Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving play than to watch Tim Duncan.
Now, that is a great analogy, right? Now, does that mean that Tim Duncan is not an all-time great player? Tim Duncan's easily a top 10 player. You probably could make the argument that he's top 6 or 7, right? But he's the big fundamental. He wasn't, particularly an exciting player to watch, but he was dominant nonetheless. What's wrong with that?
Tim Duncan plays a boring style of basketball, but it's effective, and he's a Hall of Famer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I understand that Black women are some of the most marginalized of all time.
So this is interesting. We just heard that comment that he made. RG3 understands black women are some of the most marginalized of all time, right? It's funny that all this stuff that we're hearing, the Ryan Clark comments and the different commentary that the different YouTube content creators and the mainstream media have about this, nobody played that clip of him saying that. Very interesting. Why? Because if you play that clip of him saying that, it damages your narrative that he's not black enough and that he doesn't understand the plight of black women, right? It damages your narrative if you don't play that part of it. So I didn't even know about that clip until I was prepping for the show, and I went back and I listened to the entire commentary that he had to make, as well as the entire commentary of Ryan Clark, and then his comeback, right? So no, Steve, Tim Duncan is not catching unnecessary strays, but it was a great analogy in terms of recognizing his greatness while also being able to admit that his game wasn't exciting, right? Shaq was the one who gave him the name The Big Fundamental, right? So you can be an all-time great while not being exciting, while there being other players who may not have been as great as you, but they're more exciting to watch. Right. That's why RG3 made the analogy. He'd rather watch Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving than Tim Duncan. And I get it, but that doesn't make Tim Duncan any less great. And that's what he's saying in terms of Caitlin Clark being a more exciting watch than Angel Reese, as good as Angel Reese is and as dominant as she can be. Let's continue.
But just because Angel Reese is black doesn't mean that black men and or black women cannot keep it 100 and say what is literally right in front of them, guys.
And see, that is problematic. And I'm going to say something here that a lot of black people may not like. There's a lot of black people who have this odd mentality that we can never criticize black people. And that's ridiculous. If somebody deserves criticism, it doesn't matter if they are white, Asian, Hispanic, East Indian, Arab, whatever they may be, if the criticism is deserved, then you criticize. If praise is deserved, then you give praise. This is absolutely ridiculous. Let's continue.
Caitlin Clark is a sensational basketball player.
She is.
She's more skilled, more polished, more exciting than Angel Reese. But Angel Reese is a scrappy go-getter who's a double-double machine. She is. But that doesn't mean that her play is as exciting. It's not exciting of a brand of basketball as what Caitlin Clark plays. And it's okay to admit that. That is not marginalizing her. That is not putting her down. That is just saying what is right in front of your eyes.
Okay, so that's the end of the first clip, right? Now, that whole thing was the whole thing was a lot longer than that. I think it was probably about 30 minutes, but I wanted to clip those particular points and respond to them, right? Let's see. Big Baby Chrissy says, "You're wrong again. She has never made it black or white. CC's fans did when she beat them in the finals." What? Okay, so just out of curiosity, like, how many of Caitlin Clark's fans do you know? How many of them have you talked to that have proven this to? Like, where is your, like, you're saying that because it sounds good, and I'm not saying there's no truth to it, but where are you getting that from? See, we journalists, we like evidence. We like proof of things, right? So when you make a statement like that, we like to have something to back it up. And I'm pretty sure that you don't. So, I mean, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. And I don't think you do. But here's my question for you, right? Because I saw your first comment, a bunch of cooning going on. And I'm curious to know exactly what that means. I'm not here to argue with anybody tonight, but I am here to put a stop to ignorance and nonsense, right? And when you say a bunch of cooning going on, I mean, are you the arbiter of how black people should behave, how black people should think, what black people should do, and what they should say? Are you? And if so, I mean, can you put out the memo for me so that I know what's acceptable? Because this has to stop. It is absolutely ridiculous. All right. So we've heard RG3's first set of comments on Angel Reese, excuse me, which was kind of following that game on Saturday, right? So we hear that, and, you know, a lot of people didn't like it, what have you. But, of course, Ryan Clark, he now goes, I guess, to what he felt was the defense of Angel Reese and the defense of black women, I suppose. So we got some of his commentary, and I will definitely have some response on that as well. All right, let's go.
And so now, if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with. You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women.
All right. So already, let me say this. Ryan Clark immediately, when he was discussing this, he was the one that immediately took this thing to race. And I didn't like that. But when I sat back and I really thought about it, I said, that was a brilliant move. Why was that a brilliant move on Ryan Clark's part, even though I don't agree with it? It was a brilliant move because he knew that if he took it to race, most of Black America, unfortunately, would side with him, right? Why? Because he knows that in the modern era, right, social agreement is the real currency. It's not facts. It's not data. It's not information. It's not truth. It's how many people agree with you in social media. And he knew that a lot of Black people would hop on his side. Why? Because unfortunately, not unfortunately, but they would hop on his side because a lot of Black people, unfortunately, don't like the fact that Robert Griffin III has a white wife and his previous wife was white. I mean, I really don't care. If she treats you great and you treat her great and y'all love each other, golden. I don't care, right? But a lot of Black people are going to jump on that and they're going to jump on the race piece, unfortunately. And so he did that because he knows that facts and information aren't what matter. It's the currency of people agreeing with you via social media, right? So he immediately says this, well, he's not having these conversations in his home, right? First of all, how do you know what conversations RG3 is or isn't having in his home? How do you know that? I'm just asking. How do you know? Do you live there? Are you there with them when they're laying down in bed at night and they're having husband and wife talks? Are you there with them when they're on the couch having husband and wife talks? Are you? I mean, I'm just asking because it appears to me that he thinks he is and he thinks he knows everything they discuss. Now, let me do this, right? I have some interracial couples in my family, right? My wife is Black, not that it's anybody's business and not that it matters. If she was, if she is, she is. If she wasn't, she wasn't. So what? But she is. But I have some interracial couples in my family. So I happen to know just a little bit about this, right? And so in most cases where you have a Black man and he is dating or married to a white woman, right? Most of the time, the white woman is going to end up asking her Black man the question of, why do Black women get so upset when they see me with you, right? I know this because I've been told this. Like, this is something that happens. Cool. All right. Now, when that happens, that's normally when the discussion is had about, well, baby, Black women have been through a lot, blah, 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 blah. And you really, over time, start breaking all this stuff down, right? So it's disingenuous off top for Ryan Clark to make a comment like, well, we know that he's not having these discussions in his house. Here's the other part, right? And we'll actually hear RG3 say this later. If we look at RG3, Robert Griffin III, right? Let's look at this brother here, right? You see his skin tone. RG3 is a little darker than me, right? A little darker, maybe about the same color, right? We can look at him and we can assume both of his parents are Black. Both of his parents are actually Black, by the way, right? Both of his parents are Black. So what does that mean? That means that on both sides of his family, he has a lot of Black women. We know he has 2 Black sisters. He has Black nieces. He has Black cousins. He has Black aunts. He has Black mother. He has Black grandmothers, right? Lots of Black women around Robert Griffin III. So trying to put out there the assumption that Robert Griffin III is ignorant of the plight that African-American women have had to deal with is absurd, dishonest, and disingenuous. But most people, not just Black people, but most people don't go into the nuances of topics. They hear what they want to hear. They don't think any deeper, and they just go with that, right? But it's ridiculous to say that Robert Griffin III is unaware of the plight that the African-American woman has gone through and continues to go through, right? It's also ridiculous to assume that you know what they're discussing in their household. Mansa Musa, why didn't he choose a Black woman? Because he didn't have to. He chose who he wanted. He chose who made him happy. He chose who he loved and who loved him. That's all that matters. Like, why are we so hung up on why didn't he choose but he chose who he wanted to. And who chose him? Like, that's it. Plain and simple. But let's continue with Ryan Clark's commentary.
You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back, amening and clapping.
Okay, so two things here, right? So one, again, we hear Ryan Clark's disingenuousness, right? He hasn't had the opportunity to hear these things. Again, he's black on both sides. He's got plenty of black women in his family. He's heard those things. There's no way you can tell me he hasn't, right? And here's the other piece, right? RG3, as we mentioned, his first wife was white. His current wife is white. Okay, cool. He has 4 daughters. RG3 has stated he has 4 daughters, and both of their moms are white. That means by American rules, right? Because they're biracial, by American rules, right? America is the one that created the one drop rule. Those girls are black, right? So again, with that, if his daughters are black, how can you say, Ryan Clark, that he has not had these discussions in his home with his wife? Obviously, he has to. He has to, because he has 4 black daughters. Like, let's use our brains here. Let's apply a little bit of nuance to this situation and stop looking for reasons to attack people. First of all, none of this had any reason whatsoever to even be brought up in terms of what the original context of this discussion was, and that was Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and a hard foul. None of this even needed to be brought up. This is ridiculous and absurd, right? But Ryan Clark, he felt the need to take it there, but he took it there in a disingenuous and dishonest fashion. Really, I'm trying not to use the word stupid, but you know what? It was stupid how Ryan Clark took it there. And then I got something else to say, but let's continue.
And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady. I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women.
So I totally disagree with that. Number one, like I said, I have, white family members, right? White family members. I've served in the military, been overseas, seen a lot of interracial relationships. That seems like something Ryan Clark once more is saying to try and get people on his team, on his side, right? This is about, again, the social currency, not about facts, data, or truth, right? Where is the truth for that? How can you prove that? Where are the statistics? Where are the surveys? You got to come better than just saying stuff that you can't back up. And again, none of this has anything to do with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and a hard foul and RG3 commenting on the game. Now we got Big Baby Chrissy in here. Your hatred of Black women while positioning yourself to highlight white women is insane. Big Baby Chrissy, you don't know me. You don't know me. So because I'm not here caping up for Angel Reese, right? I'm not here denigrating Caitlin Clark, which is clearly what you want me to be doing, but I'm not going to be doing that because I'm objective, I'm nuanced, I'm learned, I'm intelligent, I'm well-read, I'm well-traveled, right? Actually, Steve, we are Irish brothers, man. I'm 5% Irish. So yes, we are Irish brothers. But no, in all seriousness, right? Big Baby Chrissy, you want me to be that. I'm not going to be that. Because guess what? I don't have to be the type of Black man you want me to be. I don't. But that doesn't make me any less Black. So you can hold that, man. I don't do ignorance very well. And trust me, you come at me with ignorance, I will dismantle you. It's not a problem. And no, I wasn't bullied in school. So you can hold that too. All right, let's continue with Ryan Clark.
I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlin Clark is as well. Caitlin Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racist, he'll be no less Black than me.
So again, here we go. Who is the arbiter of Blackness? right? Who gets to say what are the rules? What are the metrics that tells who's black enough and who's not black enough? This is absolutely absurd, right? This is absolutely, hey, my man, Big Baby Chrissy or whoever you are, you think I'm on buffoonery at the highest level, you can click off, man. You can get out of here. It's all good. I don't need you here, man. You can roll. If you want to sit here and contribute something positive or something nuanced to the discussion, I'm all for it. But I mean, you're attacking me because, you know, that's the typical feminine move, right? You can't attack my argument, so you want to attack me. But that's cool. It's all good. Let's see. Mansa Musa says, you could tell RG3 ain't having this conversation in his home because of addressing what Ryan said. Instead, he took the victim route and made it seem like Ryan was going after his family. We'll talk about that. So one of the other things I thought was interesting was that Ryan Clark, he made a statement. I didn't put it in this clip, and that's my bad. He made a statement about self-hate, right? About RG3 having self-hate, and tied it in and referenced it to the fact that he had white wives, right? So here's the thing. Y'all may not know this. Ryan Clark is a raging hypocrite, right? So clearly Ryan Clark has an issue with the fact that RG3 has his previous wife was white and now his current wife is white, right? Because he made this a big deal. He has an issue and he says it's not going to change your blackness. And what was the other thing that he said? Geez, I can't remember. But, you know, you heard him make a big deal about RG3 and the blackness. And again, he had another commentary about what was it? He had about self-hate, right? So I think this was very interesting. And let me tell you why Ryan Clark is a raging hypocrite. You want to know why? Ryan Clark's oldest child is for a white woman. So you see, all y'all same ones is getting on RG3 because he had white wives. Why is nobody getting on RG3, Ryan Clark, for having had a child with a white woman? Now, I don't have any issue with that. If that's what God intended, that's what the Almighty God intended. He had a child with a white woman, the child is biracial, whatever. It's not a problem. But why is that okay, right? See, this is definition of pot, meat, kettle. So Ryan Clark could shut his damn mouth coming out here with the BS, trying to attack RG3 for having white wives when he has a child with a white woman. And again, I have no issue with interracial children. I have no issue with interracial dating. I have no issue with interracial marriage. As I told you, I have white people in my family. Non-issue. But guess what? If you have a child with a white woman, how dare you come out and attack another man for doing the same thing and for marrying a white woman, right? Hypocrisy on the highest level. All right. Now, let's go ahead and so that's my response to Ryan Clark's ignorant comments. He thought he was slick, but I saw exactly through what he was trying to do. So let's go ahead and hear some of exactly, Joseph Gonzalez. Exactly. Talk about comedy, right? The fact that you would really open your mouth, not you, but Ryan Clark would open his mouth to make these ignorant comments, knowing he has a child with a white woman, is absolutely absurd to me. And again, I'm not continually bringing this up because I have any issue with the fact that he has a biracial child. Again, I don't care. My nephew and niece are biracial. I don't care. I love them the same way. But you don't get to do that and then attack somebody else for the same thing. I don't rock like that. All right. So let's hear some of RG3's final comments on what Ryan Clark had to say. And then I'll have some more comments and then we'll take some calls and then we'll wrap this.
My job is to analyze sports.
By the way, this was RG3 following Ryan Clark's comments.
But I always make sure that I stay inside of the arena. I think this has to be said because a lot of what Ryan Clark said was so racially based, it was uncomfortable. Just because Angel Reese is a black woman doesn't mean that a black man or a black woman who happens to be an analyst can't give their opinion on her game.
Apparently that is what that means, because I can tell you in having this discussion with other people, apparently if we're black, we can't criticize other black people. Who knew? But, you know, it's funny because when black LeBron fans are out here criticizing Jordan, it's okay, right? When black Jordan fans are criticizing LeBron, it's okay, right? everything is okay, but in this, all of a sudden, it's a big deal, right? The hypocrisy continues. But let's carry on with what RG3 had to say in response to Ryan Clark. And to also say, I think that he had a really good point here as well. Like, you took it out of the field of play and you made it personal about me. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that really was uncalled for by Ryan Clark.
Just because Angel Reese is a black woman doesn't mean that a black man or a black woman cannot critique her game.
Correct.
To be quite frank, a black man or a black woman can critique anybody's game just the same as a white man or a white woman can critique anybody's game. The game. That's fine. Debate the game, but don't play with people's families.
Facts.
Don't bring my wife and my kids and my family and my home into something.
All right, let me say this. In fairness, Ryan Clark never addressed RG3's children. He never mentioned that. So we got to keep it a buck here, and we got to be objective as well as being nuanced. He never mentioned Ryan Clark never mentioned man, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Ryan Clark never mentioned RG3's kids, but he did mention his wife. And by that, I would say that RG3 is probably thinking, again, I'm not a mind reader, but he's probably thinking, if you mention me and you mention my wife, that's my family and my kids are part of that. So I get it. Nino, what's good, man? What's good? So Nino says RG3 didn't critique her game. He said she hates Cece. He based it on everything that he has seen on the court between the two of them, right? So that's what he's saying when he critiqued the game. He based it on everything he's seen on the court. If you go back and listen to that interview, he gave like 5 different instances like of on-court things that he saw that makes him believe that she hates Cece, right? But here's a quick side note. If she does hate Caitlin Clark, so what? How many other sports have we seen where guys hated each other, right? We saw, obviously, Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas hate each other, right? Before they kind of got the mutual respect and became friends, Bird and Magic hated each other, right? There's tons of basketball players who hate each other. I think Ray Lewis and other guys, Ray Lewis and Steelers, Hines Ward, they hated each other. Like, why is this such a big deal if Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese hate each other? Like, who cares? Because guess what that does? That puts more butts in the seats. That puts more eyeballs in front of the TV. That sells more tickets. That sells more merch. That makes more excitement for the WNBA. That creates a great rivalry if both of those players can continue to improve themselves and improve their teams and hopefully get to where they can compete on a high level playoff or possibly championship level, right? Well, they're both in the East, so they'll never be able to play each other in the finals unless one of them gets traded to the West. But you get the point, right? So I think it's good for the WNBA. So who cares if they hate each other? It's not a big deal. Yes, Steve, I know you hate Rudy Gobert, but let's continue with RG3's comments.
Because you're trying to prove a point. Because if you need to cross that line and attack the person, then you've already lost.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I was talking about, and also in referencing some people in this chat tonight, right? You're attacking the person because you have no hope to successfully attack the argument.
You've already lost whatever it is that you think that you're trying to win. Ryan Clark said, I don't understand the struggles of Black women because my wife is white.
Mm-hmm.
That is so wrong.
Very.
Way out of bounds. He suggested that I don't value my own wife, the one that I'm building a family with, the one that I protect, the one that I love and cherish, but that I only value her because her skin is white. That is so wrong and way out of bounds. Ryan Clark implied that he, a man that has never sat down at our dinner table, he implied that he knows my wife and values my wife and knows my marriage better than I know my own marriage.
He did. I mean, he said that, according to what Ryan Clark said, he knows for sure that certain discussions are not taking place in RG3's home. Like, how do you know that? It's absurd.
That is so wrong and way out of bounds. He claimed that I'm not having conversations in my own home about the struggles that Black women have faced in this country because my wife is white. That's so wrong and way out of bounds, man. Not to mention that we also raise Black daughters.
You don't say.
That I have a Black mom.
What?
2 Black sisters.
No.
Black aunties.
What?
Black cousins. A Black niece.
Wait. So you mean to tell me a Black man who has 2 Black parents has Black women on both sides of his family? What? No. That can't be right. No. So you mean to tell me that a Black man with a Black mother and a Black father has Black women on both sides of his family who he talks to and who have told him things? What? No, that can't be right. I would think that when he married a white woman, all that stuff just disappeared. That's what I thought. I mean, that's what Ryan Clark is trying to tell us. Carry on.
That makes 0 sense. He claimed that I want to appeal to a certain audience. So because he doesn't agree with what I said, and maybe somebody over there said something similar that he doesn't agree with or that he doesn't align with politically or personally, because I said what I said, didn't tie it to what they said, now I want to appease to a certain audience. That's so wrong and way out of bounds.
It really is. It really was. Like, I really don't understand for the life of me why Ryan Clark felt the need to take it to that man's wife. But let me answer this question for Big Baby Chrissy, right? This is interesting that you bring this up. Why isn't your wife in the background in this video like she was with your video on AR and CC when you were appealing to the white audience when you were speaking on that one? So let me ask you this, Big Baby Chrissy. Are you a mind reader? Are you? You know what audience he was trying to appeal to? He has 250,000 followers on his YouTube channel. They're all white. Have you done the research to find out what they are and what they're not? I mean, you're making a lot of definitive statements for things that you cannot possibly know. It's very interesting how you do that. But let's do this, right? Big Baby Chrissy. So here's the deal. To your point, I was talking to some of my other guys about this earlier today and yesterday. And I can say that if I was RG3, right? When I was doing that video, I probably would have told her, babe, I would appreciate if you wouldn't be in the room for this particular video, because this video, while I am not placing the racial overtone on it, other people will. And it may not, what I'm trying to say may not be received in the way I'm trying to deliver it by virtue of them seeing you in the background. And I'm sure she understands, being a white woman with a Black husband, a lot of the animus that comes from that, right? Both from the white and Black communities. And so he probably could have told her, like, listen, babe, you know, it would be optimal in terms of the reception of my message on this particular topic if you wouldn't be in the room for this one. I definitely think he should have done that. But so I get your point on that. But you say your handler isn't behind you this time. Yo, you know what, Big Baby Chrissy? I'm gonna tell you something, man. Because I know this is something I would never do. Because I appreciate you being here listening to the show. But I'm going to tell you, you are ignorant. You have made ignorant comment after ignorant comment tonight. This is pretty sad. I got to tell you. I can't even imagine what you're thinking is. All right. Anyway, Nino says, none of it makes sense. Hot take media is ruining sports. Been saying it for years. Yeah, it's tough. I will say that. It's tough. Yo, what up, Transformer? What up, my brother? We don't have enough super chats for you to melt the microphone this time. No, man, you know me, man. I'm going to tell it how it is. I'm going to tell it how I see it, and I'm going to tell it based on the truth, right? So anyway, this whole thing, I think, is absolutely absurd. We got this nonsense with RG3 and Ryan Clark, and I think Ryan Clark was super disingenuous. I demonstrated to you why. If you don't see that, it's because you don't want to. RG3, look, I definitely don't think that Ryan Clark should have taken it to RG3's personal life and his wife and all that. That was absurd. That had nothing to do with his commentary on basketball and Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Like, that was just dumb. But again, I know precisely why Ryan Clark did that. You can see it. Anybody with a brain can see why he made that move. And clearly it's working because we got people like Big Baby Chrissy saying dumb stuff in the comment. You know, you weaponized Angel. You are dangerous. How did I weaponize her? How did I do that? Come on, man. Stop it. And here's the other thing, man. Should anyone have to deal with racism? No. But let's be real here, right? Everybody in this chat, Angel Reese makes a lot more money than everybody in this chat. She might make more money than everybody in this chat combined, right? She's living a good life. Come on, man. We know that as an elite athlete, people scream crazy things at you. People scream, people try to denigrate you while you're performing to throw you off your game. Why is this so special? Because it's Angel Reese, right? Think about the great Muhammad Ali, right? God bless the dead. Think about the stuff he had to hear because he didn't want to go, and it was his, it was his stance that he wasn't going to go and fight a war that he had no interest in, that he was never violated in, right? So he faced a lot worse than Angel Reese did, right? Jack Johnson, they wanted to kill him, right? They wanted to lock him up. They wanted to kill him. Why? Because he was seen with white women, because he married white women, right? Jackie Robinson, they tried to kill him for integrating baseball, right? Hank Aaron, they wanted to kill him because he was breaking a long-held record by the great Babe Ruth, right? So what is Angel Reese really going through other than people saying some stuff she doesn't like? If indeed that's actually happening. Like, so I'm not saying it's not happening, but check this out, right? Since we're doing that, Big Baby Chrissy, since we're doing that, Angel Reese, when she was asked about the alleged racial slurs that were coming from the crowd and the alleged monkey noises that were supposedly coming from the crowd in Indianapolis, she said she didn't hear any of it. So if that was happening, she didn't hear any of it. Her coach was also asked about it, and he didn't hear it either. He said they found out about it the same time everybody else found out about it. When everybody else found out about it was after the game. So if this was happening during the game, right? How did you not hear about it, right? Sounds kind of funny to me. Let's use our brains, people. Let's use our brains. But no, y'all want to cape up, right? Oh, Big Baby Chrissy, there you go. No, it's not dumb because you're a black woman. It's dumb because it's dumb. You're ignorant, right? Okay. And what blatantly lying? Nobody's, it's all good. It's all good. It's not dumb because you're a black woman. And see, this is what I'm saying. This is when people get stuff in their brain and they just want to think stuff and they don't know what they're talking about. So you say, clearly you don't like chocolate either. I just finished telling you, not that it's any of your business, but my wife is black, right? My mom is black. My sisters are black, right? Got black nieces, so on and so forth. So what you're saying, again, you don't know me, but you want to be here and you want to say nonsense with nothing behind it, no information, no facts, data, statistics. I should have known. Because that was a very feminine move, attacking me because you couldn't rationally attack my argument. I should have known. But thank you for being here, Big Baby Chrissy. All right, so let's do this, right? Before I open up the phone lines, let me say this. For those of y'all who are new here and don't know me, let me say this. I don't do the race piece. I really don't, right? And why don't I do the race piece? Not because I don't understand that in America, race is unfortunately an integral part of our lives on just about every front. Not because I don't understand history. No, I don't do the race piece because for those of you who don't know, I'm a Muslim, right? And if you don't know about Islam, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in his final sermon before he died, one of the things that he said that I try very hard to live by is this. I'm going to read it to you. Short, I'm going to read it to you. He says, all mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have any superiority over an Arab. A white has no superiority over a black, nor does a black have any superiority over a white. None have superiority over another except by piety and good action. So he's saying here, the only person that has superiority over another is the person who is loyal, faithful, submissive to God, and does good deeds. So this is why I'm not with the race piece, right? So you can be if you want to be, that's fine. But I'm not, because I'm a Muslim and I know better than that. All right. So we will leave it right there. That's all I had. That's all my thoughts on this whole thing. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the phone lines up. Here's the number, 904-219-8264. I would love to hear you guys' feedback on this. This whole thing is crazy, man, because it can't just be, it should just be Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And it's rare that in sports things just get kept specifically between the lines, but it should be, this is their rivalry. They play hard. They go against each other. It's great for the WNBA, but it had to turn into something crazy. Walaikum salam, Joseph Gonsalves. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate that. Yeah, so the lines are open. Definitely waiting for this call. Let's go. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time to look that up, Joseph. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. That means a lot. You say you're on, G? The phone didn't ring, man. That's weird. Huh. Hang up and call back, G, because I definitely want to hear what you have to say. All right. Mark with glasses makes a great point. A lot of nonsense ruining what should be a good rivalry. Absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. G, what's going on, my brother? How are you?
Oh, man.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What you got, man? Let me hear what you got.
So I sit back and I watch, listen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how we move, yo. We move differently, bro.
We do.
Like when it comes to this whole industry shit, like a lot of times it's not what's presented, is what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark,
Mm-hmm.
as somebody who follows the game of basketball, we understand that it's who is in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily who is like the big ticket. Like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is the big ticket. That's the up and coming. Like we starting to see this now with the you don't like to hear this, but the YNs, or the new generation of basketball.
Right.
And this is the WNBA version of the new version of basketball.
Facts.
Man, like let's be real here. Like they play two totally different positions. And the fact that we have Ryan Clark, he has always been irrelevant when it comes to sports outside of the NFL.
Oh my goodness.
He will knock you the fuck out, bar none. He true to that shit, but then you bring him with a RGIII, somebody who just been he got in the league off of Subway commercials. Let's be real. Sir, hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna speak my piece, because before he even got into the league, he had 35 motherfucking Subway commercials before he threw a pass. Like, I'm not letting y'all redskin motherfuckers off the hook. Like, before he even was anybody, y'all was already locked in, because that's who the league told y'all that y'all need to be locked in on. He was nice as shit. Like, don't get me wrong, but NFL and NCAA is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to go flip-flop. I'm going to be here for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to let y'all go. But what I will say is like the whole thing between Ryan Clark and RG3, prior to that, RG3 wife sold so many motherfucking big booty rubber bands on her ass, then because Ryan Clark put her on. The only thing I'm saying is like, yo, this is not like nothing new, man. We as sports fans, we gotta look into this and say, you know, who was checking Ryan Clark when I'm not Ryan Clark, Caitlin Clark when she went off.
Mm-hmm,
Who was checking her? Because it wasn't a Reese. Like Reese is, and he's my dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go back 20 years.
We do.
However,
Yeah.
when we look at it, bro, like come on, common sense tell us that, you know, Shaq and the Fool wouldn't be Shaq and the Fool if we didn't have like NBA players blowing layups.
Right.
All right, this young lady, she was able to capitalize off of her skill set. She a monster. Like we can't take that off. It's no way we can deny that. But at the same time, we still gotta look at the fact that we will have instances where these bigs and Angel Reese is a big.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not make this shit. So make this shit out of something that is not. She's a big, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to this, when it comes to like just being able to perform night in and night out.
Mm-hmm.
And Angel will always. I mean, I'm not Angel. Caitlin will always gonna be there. She's always gonna be there because you can see on the off season. This is the time when we look at it. She been practicing her craft, bro. Like can't take nothing away from it. But what a lot of people will do is they'll try to put race into this shit and say that, oh, you know what I mean? Like one person is getting that money regardless. Another person is not getting that money. And they gotta do other things to generate revenue. It's just business. It's business, man. But at the same time, it's like you hear Gilbert Arenas talk about like the biggest narrative right now is the Shy and the motherfucking Ant. Ant talk big boy shit about Mike and everybody else that came before him, but nobody's talking about the fact that Yo just went dud.
Yeah.
He just shot a dud. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he shot a dud when it came time.
Yeah.
But nobody else is going to talk about Shy and his, like 15 points from the line. So
yeah, like 35 total.
God. It's a change of God.
No doubt.
I like how the league, and sir, I'm not going to keep you, but I like how the league is keeping everybody relevant. But when it comes to the WNBA, we got to call out whoever was checking her.
That's a fact.
We can't bring Angel Reese, who's coming from the 4, trying to stick a 2. I dare motherfucking 2 pull up on me. Man, I'll cook their ass time and time again. Like, you dig what I'm saying, bro? Like, let's be real here, yo. Like, a 2 and a 4, like, a 4 versus a 4 is a matchup.
Definitely.
A 2 versus a 4 is a disadvantage to the 4.
Oh yeah, no question. And so I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
On the perimeter, it's not gonna happen, man.
No, I totally agree.
But I mean, like to bring your family in this is crazy. Yeah. I mean, look, this is white and black. Oh, we gonna talk white and black. Nobody gives a fuck, man. Like this is basketball. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin, but the testicular fortitude of where the fuck you live. And a 2 and a 4, the 2 won't always win, bro. Like they always gonna win. Like if not, we wouldn't have Shaq and the Fool.
Right.
Yeah, we wouldn't have Shaq and the Fool where you got what's his name that played Jaheed?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh man, my man that played for the Lakers that was blocking all this. I know who exactly. I can't remember his name.
Big block.
Yeah.
No. We're not gonna talk about Brandon Roy. JaVale McGee, yes sir. Yes sir. And I'm gonna get off here, but I don't want to debunk what we going at, but at the same time, man, I think this shit is just buzz to bring in revenue because how you gonna put a 2 or a 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, the floor just there for rebounds and easy layup. And as we saw, like, Shorty was trying to get that grip. She's trying to get that money. That's it.
No doubt.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. I'm gonna get off here. Call in, fellas, and let me know when I'm out.
Hey, appreciate the call, G. Love you, bro. That's my brother right there, man. Okay, Chief Sid Bubba, I saw you trying to call in, man. Go ahead and call back. Definitely want to hear from you. And of course, anybody else that has thoughts on my commentary, thoughts on this whole situation, thoughts on whether or not they agree with me on whether or not Ryan Clark was out of line in his commentary, or whether RG3 was out of line in his commentary. I want to hear from y'all, man. Laker Nation, what up? What up?
What up, Bruce?
Chilling,
what up,
man.
Bruce?
Chilling.
Bruce?
Chilling, man. By the way, y'all,
Shout out to the Format Podcast.
No doubt, no doubt. This is Laker Nation, y'all, host of the Be Ready Sports Podcast, man. After you get done here, make sure you go over there, like and subscribe to that channel, y'all. Great channel highlighting the youth and what they're doing athletically.
Man, I just met Kobe Bryant reincarnated tonight.
I saw
man.
that.
That kid gave me Kobe vibes.
He sure did. He sure did. Yeah, my man was like super serious. I was like, yo, I liked it though. Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah.
He's tough.
Yeah, man. Bruce, man, you keep life interesting, brother.
Do I?
I come on here thinking you talking sports and shit. You over here talking about them idiotic comments Ryan Clark said.
Yeah, normally I do, but I felt like this one had to be addressed. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny?
What's up?
You know what's funny is black men need to stop hating on each other, man. If you got a problem with somebody, just have a problem with them. You know what I'm saying? I don't like men. Quit bringing people's wives in fucking conversations.
That was crazy, right?
Quit bringing women into conversations if you got beaten. That's some sucker shit.
Agreed.
Man, if you got beef with RG3, handle that shit with him man to man. Don't be getting on TV talking about the man's family, wife. Who cares if you got a white woman? So what you got a snow bunny?
So here's the deal, Laker Nation. I don't know if you heard me say it. I think it was deliberate by Ryan Clark to take it to the racial side, because he knew that if he did that, he would get the support of a lot of Black America. So it was a smart move in terms of getting people behind him, right? And so that's why he did that. He didn't just do that just to do that. Ryan Clark, understands how media works.
Man, I don't support sucker shit.
I don't either.
Only suckers support sucker shit.
Mm-hmm.
Only suckers gonna back that up.
So, but look, let me ask you this. What do you think about the fact that he's going at RG3 for having a white wife when he has a child with a white woman himself? How hypocritical is that? What are your thoughts? Because I think it's real interesting that the same people who want to attack RG3, same people who want to attack me for what I have to say, nobody has even responded to the fact that Ryan Clark has a child with a white woman, which again, I have no problem with. I have a problem with his hypocrisy. What are your thoughts on that?
Man,
exactly.
He just proved to the world that he a sucker.
Sucker, straight clown. I lost so much respect for him when I found that out.
Clown.
I'm like, really,
dude?
He
a clown. He a clown for that, man.
Definitely.
But they know who to go after and who to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
He won't go after no real one.
No,
talking about somebody's wife like that. They'd have checked his ass coming out the studio.
Yeah, it would have been bad. Not that we are advocating brothers fighting here on the Format Podcast, because we certainly are not. We're just saying that there are certain brothers who will not have that and would react adversely. Am I right, Laker Nation? I don't want to speak for you.
No, I'm just saying there's certain people you can't mention their wife and
correct.
And coming out your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Man, some motherfuckers get mad you get their wife a compliment.
Yeah, and think it's just gonna be sweet like that. That's nah. Nope.
What you mean my wife look good?
Why are you looking at my
checking
watch?
it out. Why you looking at my watch? No. That's something, man. People react different, man. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. This is just weird to me.
Very.
This just gave me weird vibes. Like I don't get behind it. I don't support it. If you can't get people to watch your show or back you without playing some clown shit, then you have no substance in your name.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
If you put on there that Magic Johnson is your guest star on the Format Podcast, you're gonna have 300,000 people tuning into your show to see what Magic got to say. You ain't got to say, "Oh, Magic this, that, and the third,"
right?
To get people to watch.
Correct.
Like that's what I mean by if you gotta do stuff like that. You ain't got no substance behind your name.
No, that's a fact.
Like,
that said, I would love to have Magic on my show. You know that.
Yeah, I would like, make sure you talk shit about themselves.
Oh, he would. He'd be like, "What's that on your logo, brother?" I'd be like, "Don't look at that, Magic. Don't look at me. Don't look up."
He'd be like, he gonna be like, "I hate you until you take that logo down."
Yeah, he would. He sure would. No.
But before I go, I'm gonna say shout out. Tune in tomorrow. I got another point guard coming on there where size don't matter.
Okay. Bet.
He's small, but he play like Isaiah Boston Celtic Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, that's what's up. Okay, looking forward to it.
Check that out.
No doubt, we'll do.
Let me get a few shout outs out before I go.
No doubt.
I'm not trying to hold up your show, but this is early for you. Shout out Nino. Shout out all the members to the Format Podcast. Shout out to Bruce. It's not that serious. I don't know where the hell Chief is. I hope he's
Chief
good.
He's in here.
I haven't seen Chief in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's
shout
in
out
here right
to
now.
Chief. Shout out to Steve. Go get that leg checked out, man, before you get it amputated. No, I'm kidding. Shout out to Steve. And shout out to that person in the chat that was saying all that nonsense. We still love you, even though you're ignorant. And shout out to Nate for calling in, man. I love that you get to have celebrities call in, man. Shout out to Money Mate.
Right.
And I'm out.
Hey, appreciate the call, brother. Thank you.
For sure.
All right, Nino, go ahead and call Chief Sid Bubba. I know you were trying to get through. Go ahead, you guys, give us a call. And Big Baby Chrissy, you had a lot to say in the chat. You can call in too. The number's right there on the screen. We don't just call it. We don't just take calls from people we agree with here on the Format Podcast. Chief, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Bruce?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right.
Yeah, I know my boy Laker Nation was wondering what happened. I had to spend that QT with my woman.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What's up, man?
I think everything that you said is right concerning art. Concerning you're factually right. But I think the problem is not so much what RG3 said. It was him as the messenger. Because you got to remember the history when RG3 first came out in DC, and DC is known as what?
Chocolate City. That's right. I was born there.
Chocolate City, yeah. But then when he got drafted, he was like, I don't want to be defined by my race. I want to be defined by my quarterback. That's cool. You can say that, but also being the quarterback of Chocolate City.
Right. Embrace that.
It's a lot of expectations. Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
On that, he's always had that, people kind of gave him the side eye. And then it kind of went on from there. And then I'm also wondering, did they like each other? Because didn't Ryan play for the Redskins as well as RG3?
Yeah, so Ryan Clark put out a long tweet about it following RG3 saying what he said in that last clip, and he was saying that he said he's the worst teammate ever, both with the Redskins and on ESPN. Yeah, he went at him. Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that, and then he had the image and the branding, and a lot of people, both black, they didn't like him because they thought he was above reproach. Because, you know, when he switched up. So he wasn't really the most likable guy.
Right.
So he got promotion. Now, farther, you know, time went on, he got a lot better. He got a little bit more popular with people because, you know, because his reputation. I think that's the problem. Angel Reese, they don't like each other. But that's a good thing.
But that's okay. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm with you, Chief.
Anytime, and that's good. They don't need to like each other.
Right.
I don't like no kumbaya.
Right.
So, Angel Reese, I like it. Well, you know, she might not. Yeah, I like the fact I beat you in a championship game.
Right.
So she should feel that way.
That's right. Because think about it. You heard me say, you know, when she was doing the "you can't see me" and she was pointing at the ring finger, you could do all that talking because you beat her. So I have no problem with Angel Reese doing that talking. So anybody who has a problem with Angel Reese talking at that point, they're just stupid. Because if you don't want somebody to talk, guess what you got to do? You got to beat them. You got to stop them, right? If you can't do that, they have the right to talk.
There you go. But also, like I said, now had Charles Barkley said this.
Okay.
Shaq or anybody. Ryan Clark wouldn't say that.
Touche.
Yeah, I don't think he would have said anything. But it was the fact it was RG3 that caused the stink.
Right.
And then, you know, but also this is something like you said earlier when it comes to when it comes to black people, we're not a monolithic culture.
Correct.
We got everything on the end of the spectrum. All different.
That's right.
And I think people got to realize that now. But there are certain things that you do in the black community that will have people kind of looking at you side-eyed and say, "Oh, you ain't down."
Right.
That's when Rob Parker kind of made the cornball brother.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like with Tiger, you know, I'm Caucasian, okay, but when you got arrested, they put black on there. So a lot of that. So then that caused a lot of friction with a lot of people when you're superstars, and I think we put too much emphasis on superstars and entertainers.
Correct.
And stuff.
Oh, I'm big on absolutely.
Right. So so when that happens, and when they distance themselves, and because they probably don't feel like I don't owe nobody responsibility, I just got to play my game. That caused a lot of friction. So therefore, a lot of people are going not like RG3 anyway, or Tiger, or Whitlock, or Candace Owens. Right. So that plays a part of it. But what he said was actually factual. You know, the message was right. The facts were right. But they just don't care for him being the messenger.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Chief. That is a great point, man. Yeah.
But shout out to my boy King. You know, I know King Steve. He's Harrison Buckner. I know
that's right.
I know he's buried in everything.
Yes.
So I've had to, I had to let that be known. And that'll be it for the Chief tonight.
No doubt. That's good stuff. All right, Chief, man. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to the boys from Annapolis. Anchors away, Chief.
Yes, sir.
All right. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Bye.
All right, Nino, I know you're trying to get in, man. I want to take your call, man. Call me back. So where'd Big Baby Chrissy go? Big Baby Chrissy had a lot to say. Where did she go? We right here. We waiting for you. I want you to call in. Nino, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man? You got a hot topic, don't you?
Look, man, you know me. I didn't want to do this, but it was a major topic. I had to.
I knew it.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
But
I had to.
I think you're going too hard on Ryan Clark, though. I do.
Okay.
Because I'm taking Sid position mostly. Because now, if it was anybody else, if it was a random guy that said it, and it wasn't all the pieces in place, I know I'll be like, I agree with you. I'm like, that's ignorant. But what I think I think it's a little deeper.
Okay.
I think that Ryan Clark is speaking directly to RG3 and only RG3. Like, I don't think he has a problem with white people. I don't think he has a problem with a black person with a white person. I think.
Well, I think clearly he does, because he utilized that to take shots. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I know what you're going to say, because he used it to take shots at RG3 though. But now I'm gonna ask you a question, because I heard you say. Now, it's people that just fall to brothers or whatever. They say they just date who they fall in love with, right? That's correct.
Yeah.
Would you also agree that it's brothers that specifically go to the white women and say that they behave or they feel like they act a certain way?
Yes.
You telling me that don't exist?
That exists.
That,
that exists.
Okay. So maybe he's saying Ryan Clark is that guy. I mean, RG3 is that guy. Maybe he specifically talking about RG3. Like, hey, we know why you did this and you doing that. I only say that because I paid attention to RG3, and I brought up the hot take because I say you too hard on Ryan Clark, because I feel like RG3 were rushing to give a hot take. And anybody who rushed to give a hot take about nonsense, all that was two women playing basketball. One felt they got fouled hard. One got up pushing shove. Ain't never one of them gonna fight.
True, but let me ask you this though, real quick, Nino. In regards to the Angel and CC, so we saw Angel hop up and try to go after Caitlin Clark. Am I right in that?
Right.
Okay. Why didn't she hop up and go after Alyssa Thomas when Alyssa Thomas took her out the air? What was different about that?
She said that was a homie or something. They know each other. They from Baltimore. Where they from?
Well, I know Angel Reese is from Baltimore. I don't know where Alyssa Thomas is from. But
they said they knew each other though.
But the point is though, that wasn't just a hard foul like that. She took her out the air, right? She put her arm around her neck and took her out the air and slammed her on the ground. Like, why she didn't jump up ready to fight then?
Well, for one, I ain't saying that.
You see what I'm saying though, right?
She ain't picking a balance. Yeah. I'm saying that. What I'm saying, it ain't. I agree with you. She might don't like them. But it might be in a basketball sense. But when you go in there and give a hot take, oh, she hates this girl, and okay, this is where we're gonna go deep with it.
Okay.
It's a certain fan base that already wants to paint Angel Reese as a black, what they say, she an ignorant, cocky woman, bully. She do all this. So I feel like they looked at RG3, hey, you just pouring Feud on the fire just because. Now, if it was something like she said, if it was somebody else that gave that tape, then they probably, okay, they looking at it from a real basketball standpoint. I think I'm not even talking about Ryan Clark. It was a lot of people because I took it just face value till I looked into it. It's a lot of people from the black community, right or wrong. They look at RG3 as trying to degrade Angel Reese. Like, oh, look how hateful she is. Look how she do this and that. So that's where they got it into it. I don't agree with it. But I can see what both sides. He got on. He was in there the first 30 minutes after the game. You ain't talking about WNBA. That's a hot take. You talking about football or something.
Well, I mean, no, I think just based on, and let me say this, I don't disagree with you, Nino. I think a lot of what you're saying is legit here. Only thing I'll say is, like, obviously that was a huge game. That was one of the biggest sporting events of the weekend. When you're talking about the best TV ratings in the WNBA in 25 years, like, that's huge, right? That's not just some random game. Like, that's real deal, So.
No, I agree. But this is what I was talking about the journalism and the hot take and the social media and all of this. It was plenty of stuff to talk about, but everybody wants that name. That's how Stephen A. and Skip got that money. Just talking about foolishness. Man, they gave an old clip of NBC and how they used to talk about sports after the game. They barely did the debate thing. They just, whoever won, Showtime, they talked about this. They broke it down, man. So RG3 getting on there. People looked at it, right or wrong, and, oh, look what he's trying to do. He's just trying to bounce on Angel Reese and make her look like this bad buddy. And you might agree she is or ain't. My point is, if you give a hot take like that, you gotta be ready to take it. They're like Stephen A.
So okay, I agree. If you give, and I'm with you, Nino. My only issue is I felt like Ryan Clark was really below the belt by deliberately doing all that, talking about RG3's blackness, talking about his white wife and this, that, and the third. I'm like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, respond to his hot take about the basketball. Why are you bringing up his wife and her race and blackness and self-hating and all this foolishness? And again, let me ask you this, Nino, before I let you go. Where are you? Because I noticed you haven't mentioned it at all. Where are you on the fact that he had something to say about RG3's white wife while he has a child for a white woman? Is that not the pot calling the kettle black?
No. I'm going to explain why.
Yeah, let me hear this.
A wife and a baby mama do this thing. That's two different things now. You live with it, it's way too different. Way too different. Whoever your partner in life and your baby mama is way too different. But
Nino, if it was that big a deal, he wouldn't even have got with a white woman in the first place to have a baby. If it was that big a deal to him, that's my thing.
Well, if he's thinking like that, I think he's wrong in the first place. Now, look, what they say, I give away them pork now.
Right.
Listen, woman to woman. But I'm saying they got I think he's so personal. What I told you about brother Stephen A. You got to look a little deeper. I don't think he's saying if you got a baby by a white woman, this and that. I think he's talking specifically to what RG3 got, did what he did. Why he got a white wife, how he moved. It's different. If he just saying whoever, if you got a white wife, I'm like, then I'll be like, hey, I don't agree with that. But he might know something about RG3 and the way he acts. Because I be keeping an eye on him lately. He got some questionable stuff he be talking about. They say you got a black mama and black sister. That don't mean too much. But it don't mean it either way. That won't say, see how stupid it is? So none of it, we don't need to know the facts. None of us know about none of it. But what I'm saying is Ryan Clark might know RG3 personally in the way he acts. Because Rob Parker did say that people look at him in D.C. like popcorn brother. That was way back. So what did Rob Parker hear for him to say that at that point? How was he acting? People don't say that just because you got a white wife. Michael Jordan got a white wife. Ain't nobody ever said that.
No, his wife is Hispanic. But anyway.
Oh, Hispanic?
Yeah, she's Hispanic.
We love white women. So I'm thinking it's something with RG3 the way he acts.
I mean, it could be. And I'm not saying it's not. My bigger point is Ryan Clark didn't have to go there. His wife had nothing to do with any of it. He didn't have to go there. I really don't believe he did.
What did he say about his wife, too? Because I really don't know what he's actually... I thought he said that's the reason
I'll say this. He didn't... Okay, so he didn't necessarily go at his wife, but he used the fact that he brought up his wife to denigrate RG3 and to talk about RG3's blackness and so on and so forth. And I'm like, what? This is nonsense.
He might know something. He might think you got people that you just met a white woman. Because I meet me one, that'd be what it is. You might meet a white woman and love, and that's different than you going out and you only. I know people only date black white women because they think they act a certain way. I never say no shit like that. But I mean, my bad.
You get me.
But I never say no stuff like that. But his brothers out here think that now, Bruce. That's a fact. I know some.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But yeah, Dito, Yeah, no doubt. But I'm gonna let you go on that one, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much, man.
All right, bro. Me and Steve gonna get to speak to the women speaking sandwiches. Will you let y'all have it?
No doubt, no doubt. All right, Nino, man. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Nino always with the good call. Transformer, please leave that there. Please leave that there. You're a fool. All right, man. I will take one or two more calls, and then we'll get up out of here. Big Baby Chrissy, you welcome to call. You got a lot to say in the chat. You're welcome to call. The number's right here on your screen. Yeah, I'll take one or two more calls, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here for the night. Yeah, this is something, like I said, I wouldn't normally have touched with a 10-foot pole, but it was such a big story. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah, but then next time, it's right back to real sports and not all this other stuff. By the way, quick side note, man, this Knicks Pacers game looks like a good one, man. But I've been really focusing on, interacting with you guys and trying to do a good job on this particular topic. Looks like I missed about 2.5 quarters of this thing. Knicks up 80-76 at this moment. No, we do not want you to call in, Steve. Do not. No. No, we do not. All right. Well, it looks like I'm not going to get any more calls on this topic, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut it down right here. Thank you for everybody who was with us during the show. I appreciate it. Thank you for your interaction in the chat, even if we didn't agree on hold on. Here we go. Bruce, what up, man? How you doing?
What's going on with you, man?
Maintaining, man.
I'm proud of you, man. I thought you weren't going to do the show.
Man, I didn't want to do it, man. I didn't want to do it.
Hey, man.
Every time I don't want to do a show, man, you always shame me into doing it, man.
Hey,
I appreciate it, though.
Inspiration and the motivation, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, this shit ain't nothing but a big-ass circus of nothing. Seriously, like, the whole thing. But, as far as RG3, my opinion is about him. Even though he could be a little corny, I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I always like RG3. I mean, everybody, some people just happy-go-lucky. He's corny, like Rob Parker said years ago. He said it years ago. That's why he got fired with ESPN.
Right. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, he is a corny, but I like RG3. Everybody, it's just everybody ain't the same. People don't like his person. People just don't like RG3. Don't like his personality.
Mm-hmm.
But they say everybody think he's corny.
Right.
It was the messenger. That's what basically this whole back and forth about. Maybe it was somebody that was more respectable. The message might would have been taken better. And another thing that brought people a lot of wrong ways with his white wife sitting, even though he knows about race, about his white wife. That's big too. His white wife in the back giggling and chuckling and shit. Like, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
That just was weird, bro. Even though probably didn't mean nothing. She's probably not a racist white woman. I don't know.
Right.
It just looked crazy.
No, it did. It did. I agree with you, man. I agree. It did. And I don't know if you heard it when I was saying earlier that, if it was me and I was in his shoes, I would have probably told him like, I would have told her like, listen, babe, I would appreciate if you would not be in the room for this one because the nature of the topic, it can be, it's nuanced and, with you sitting there, it could damage the reception of the particular message I'm trying to get across. So I agree with you, Bruce. You're 100% right on that, man.
That's mainly that's like mainly like the black women in particular is fussing about.
Mm-hmm.
But and man, listen, man. It is what it is. Race is always going to be an integral part of life, and that's how people going to make it seem like it's everything about race. But that's what it was. It was the message. I mean, RGP opinion on Angel. It was. I mean, he said some things that was cool and valid, but he didn't actually critique the game.
Mm-hmm.
He just basically put the hate button on her that he hates the Angels hate. I don't think they hate each other though, yo. I don't really think. Do you think that actually Angel hates her like that? Like how they making it seem like a jealous hate?
I think Angel does not like her at all. I think Caitlin Clark doesn't like Angel as a competitor. I think Angel doesn't like Caitlin Clark like at all. I don't think she hates her to the extent of what RG3 was saying. So I agree with you there, but I don't think she likes her. I think that I'm not going to use the word jealous because Angel's living a pretty damn good life, right?
No,
so
can't be jealous. What is it?
Well, I'll say like in terms of the W, maybe she feels like I heard Jamel Hill say this earlier, and it was actually a good point. I think maybe she feels like she can't be discussed in the frame of the WNBA, in the frame of basketball, without somehow being connected to Caitlin Clark. And I think that bothers her because in some cases they can talk about Caitlin Clark without talking about her. But I mean, so I would look at it if I'm Angel Reese, right? I would look at it, not that it's exactly the same, but I would be like, okay, if every time they talk about me, they talk about her, then I'm going to try to make it Magic and Bird. That's what I would say. Instead of being upset, I would try to make it Magic and Bird. Let's continue to get this money, and I'm going to try to continue to ball out every time I play against her. And hopefully my organization will build the team that can compete against the team that she has. That's, you know.
So, yes, I would say it's like, man, and the thing is, we're not hearing a word from either of them. It's the media talking about it. I mean, I guess that's how I go. But I haven't heard anything, Angel say anything about this since that happened. And okay, like, what's everybody going on with their lives? Seriously, I keep hearing people saying that. I mean, everybody had it on the page. People saying that. See, Caitlin is living rent free in Angel's head. I mean,
I do think she is, though. I do.
Nah, how could you see? You can't say that, yo.
I think so.
There's no reason for me. I mean, what's wrong with that, though? I mean, the same thing when the men said when they give homage to, is it a basketball thing or is it a race thing? That's what basically everybody trying to make.
Yeah,
like, what is it?
So there is a racial component, but to the point, it's not between them. I think it's more so, unfortunately, between their fan bases. I really do. I think the fan bases are playing that more so than they are. You got it?
So how can we definitively say that CC is living rent free in Caitlin's head? I mean, in Angel's head. You can't say that, yo. How can we?
I'll say it appears that way to me. I think think about this. When Angel always played with a lot of passion, but it looks different when she plays against Caitlin's teams, though. It looks different. Like something is off. She's still playing hard, but it don't look the same. And there seems to be, again, in my humble opinion, there seems to be a level of frustration, like whenever, there's reference to Caitlin or anything like that you don't see in other situations. Like, it's just weird to me.
Okay, let me say that. Then I hear people talk about, I've been hearing where everybody keeps talking about Angel's behavior. What's wrong with our behavior? She's a rich, young, black, beautiful, confident, with high stat. I mean, she's, you know what I'm saying? She's a young star. Now, behavior, like people talking about how she dressed, how she talks, how she communicates, the things she say. Understand what I'm saying? Like, but she don't get in trouble though. Besides that, she's doing young girl stuff. I mean, young woman stuff. You talk about her behavior. Like, people get offended by her behavior. Like, she's supposed to be humble.
Well, I'll say this. I don't, me personally, I don't know that I've referenced her behavior. Possibly I have. I don't know that I have, but possibly I have.
Yeah, you could put the behavior up, but go ahead.
Okay, cool. So let me say this. Like, isn't Caitlin Clark a young star who has, in many people's eyes, a lot of those same attributes? Maybe not yours, but a lot of those same attributes to different people. She is, right?
Yes.
But just saying.
Everybody has different demeanors. Different.
That's true. I mean? That's true.
Everybody not the same though, Bruce. Everybody. I assume like you'd rather have somebody that's more reserved.
Yeah.
If you was dating a woman, you would like an Angel Reese type.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I don't want all that.
I mean, we won't get into all that.
We're not gonna get into all. No. But shit, I want you more quiet, more reserved, more humble. Yeah, no, I don't need all that noise and loudness. No.
The outgoing.
No, I don't want all. No, absolutely not. For what?
But that's just basically it. But okay. But yeah, like I say, the messenger, Robert Griffin, nobody respect Robert Griffin. Everybody think he's corny. And he's like to get fired for ESPN for putting a goddamn hoagie in his mouth.
Yeah, well, you know.
Let me put the hoagie in his mouth. They fired him the next day.
No, I don't remember that. What?
Man, he had a picture. He has a hoagie in his mouth.
Oh.
And they fired him the next day. Why do you think he don't work for ESPN no more?
I remember that he had kind of got into something with Paul Feinbaum. I thought that had a lot to do with it.
No, yeah, the hoagie in his, he got fired the next day.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
But that's the true nigga photos by everybody is rubbed the wrong way because that's him. He had that his wife sitting in the back like she's that would be real, like she's the slave master's wife.
Oh boy, here we go. See,
that's how I sing. That's how people taking it when I'm reading on Instagram and on Threads and on Facebook. I mean, well, the black women on fire, honey. Yeah, they on fire. But I'm just saying, I'm just talking about, I don't see it that way. I think RG3 White's pretty cool. She never gave me the vibes of, you know what I mean? Being that way, you know?
Right.
But what I've been, she said, like, she cool. I think she's from Switzerland or something.
Yeah, something like that. By her first name, she seems definitely like something like that. Yeah.
Like she was every time she never gave me the the real vibes like that type tip. But that offended a lot of people. Her curled up like I was good giggling, eating ice cream and chuckling.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I definitely would have not had her in the room while I was doing that particular show.
Well, and how RG3 was saying it. It kind of seemed like you got a personal. It was about how you say things, about who's saying or how you say things, and then both of them was wrong. Now, when somebody was more respectable, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. He didn't critique a game and nothing. Like he was talking about basically putting the hate train on Angel. He was trying to a character assassinate.
All right, so let me ask you this. This
you gotta get off real quick.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask you, man, in all seriousness, this is what I don't understand. Like, why do we feel this need, not we, why do so many people feel this need to jump to Angel Reese's protection all the time? Why is that?
Because I feel truthfully because all the hate she get, it's just ridiculous. Yo. If you really go and look at these sports, like all the sports pages, like Sportskeeda, even our satire ones, even the fake ones, and ESPN is nothing but serving mainly Caucasian white men going at it. Like, I mean, they're not critiquing her fairly. Everything's a joke, and but it's just all fair game. But it's mainly white men.
Okay, I mean, I was just asking because like
way more white than black, and that's why it's like a race. The white men are attacking her hard, man. I just feel like there's a lot of. I'm sorry. It's fair game. Plus the CC component. People. You know what I mean? Let's be real. The white people, they stick with their kind. It is what it is.
I don't know that that's the case, but okay.
In most cases, I mean, as far as like stuff like this, go on the internet and look at these comments. I'm not saying it. I mean, it's not.
Right. I get you. I'm just. I guess I can only look at it from my.
The black community is behind her. Like, damn, she's look how good she looks. It's her beauty, everything. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. Don't like her behavior. Don't like how she dressed. You get comments about her. She's not focused on basketball. She was killing what she want to do. Be a supermodel or cool, and she need to focus more on basketball. But WNBA players don't get paid that much. She got to work.
No, that's true. That's a fair point. But all right. Well,
Well, Ryan Clark, real quick. Ryan Clark, that's the messenger too. He I don't know. Ryan Clark, he good, but there's somebody I think he was kind of corny. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know what to think about what he checked them properly because people don't respect RG3. So Ryan Clark, he's a clown, dissing the clown. Basically, because Ryan Clark do a whole bunch of flip flopping too. That I don't like. He talking like he a straight up noble man. You know what I mean? Like he was a clown. He shouldn't have said nothing about his wife though. That's grounds to punch a guy in their face when you see him though. Sometimes I'll just be saying anything because they don't respect you.
Fair enough.
But like I said, I respect RG3. He's a cornball. he's corny, but I mean, you know, people don't respect it. They don't receive the message.
I tell you what, if I get that kind of money, I'll be corny too. But I hear what you're saying, man.
Hey, Gerard, man, I catch up with you here.
Hey, thank you for the call, Bruce, man. I appreciate you. And thank you for the motivation, inspiration, brother. I appreciate you.
Always, bro. I'm always going to be there. All right, champ.
No doubt, man. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. I'm going to leave it right there, man. Great call from my guy, Bruce. I'm going to leave it right there. 2 hours on the nose. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. All y'all have a great night. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the way out. Steve, man, I was literally ending the show, man, but I got to take your call. What you got?
I had to call because you said I couldn't call with my hot take.
Yeah, do not give me your hot take, but go ahead.
Oh, man, all right, I'll tone it down.
Thank you.
Ultimately,
mm-hmm.
This is why we can't have women's sports. This is why it's bad. We just can't have nice things for them. They ruin everything. And now look, we got men in sports media turning into simps fighting over two women that isn't even there. It's just bad for everybody. This is why I say the sandwich. That is the sport. That is the sport we need. This would never be a problem.
Oh my God.
We would not have this problem if they were in the kitchen making sandwiches. Everybody would be full. Their bellies would be full. Everybody would be happy. We wouldn't have this problem, and we wouldn't have this simp epidemic of grown men fighting over women that isn't even theirs. That's my take. I toned it down as best as I could.
Thank you.
Because he told me I couldn't call, I had to call.
Okay, I'll take that. And you knew I was going to answer if you called, Steve. You already know.
I know. Listen, I don't do myself any justice in the chat. I get it. It's understandable. But I had to call because that's what the people wanted.
That's right. We're just trying to keep from getting demonetized, you know.
Listen, I'll walk the line. I'll never cross.
You do.
You do. All right, bro. I'll let you go.
Thank you for the call, Steve, man. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Stay blessed.
All right. All right, Steve, king of the chat, as always. Okay, guys, as I was saying, we're going to go ahead and we're going to end the show right here. Thank you so much for everybody that stayed with us through the duration. I know this was kind of long for one topic, man, but it had to happen. So, again, thanks so much for kicking it with me. I appreciate it. You know the deal. Like and subscribe on the way out. Share the channel. Share this episode. I'm sure there's a lot of people that's going to have a lot of disagreements with things I said, but that's cool because I'm sure there's a lot of people who have a lot of agreement with things I said, and that's cool also. But yeah, what's tonight? Wednesday. So next episode is going to be Sunday, but we'll probably have something coming out before that. So y'all have a good one. Be safe. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. And we out. Peace.